What up, everybody? Welcome to Garage Sale, the podcast for the kids who are always rocking their own style, but on a budget. I'm your host, Ulises Orozco, where I'll be hosting the stories behind the steals and a weekly clothing item. Let's go. Really quick, I want to start by giving thanks to the Creative Production Lab for letting us use their whisper room. Our guests today, we have Adam Ortega and Christian Robles, both of them students here at UNO. First, let's start with Adam. Can you give us a little introduction?
Yes. Hello, thank you for having me here. Just happy to be on the show. Yeah, so balling on a budget.
Balling on a budget.
I'm about it, man.
Good. What would you say? How would you describe your style?
Like my style, my fashion, and whatnot? Yeah. So obviously, like, with Twitter and, like, just fashion in general, you know, we're always looking at, like, big names, you know, like Virgil Abloh and, like, Off-White or, you know, like Gucci and, you know, some of those big things. I'm sure all your feeds, you know, have these expensive $3,000, $4,000 outfits. And it's like, that's cool, but I'm a college student, you know. I don't have $3,000, $4,000 to spend on a pair of shoes or some underwear. So I don't know. I'm all about, you know, thrifting, Goodwill. For me, like you said, it's a lot of skateboarding. You know, it's kind of interesting to see in men's fashion and culture specifically is how skateboarding influences fashion and how fashion influences skateboarding, right? So, I mean,
does.
Look, 10 years ago, we all had baggy clothes on, and now everybody has track pants with Yeezys. So
A little tighter clothes?
yeah, so, I mean, it goes back and forth for sure. You know, Vans, obviously. There's a good example.
I definitely take inspiration from skaters. You know, Naya Houston.
Yeah, Nigel's a good example of like a
Influencing.
influencer.
He's definitely an influence. Also, we have Christian Robles.
No, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you for having me on. For my style, I kind of would describe myself as back and forth. I like to mix trendy, but I also like to dress up and be classy from time to time. You know, that just really depends on the clothing I wear. Sometimes you can dress it up, you can dress it down, you know. So there's that different style. Me, I work at Urban Outfitters, so I kind of have to keep up with the trends. You know, you see things coming back from the 80s and 90s, and because I work there, you know, you have to keep up with that style, kind of wear, you know, what they sell, and you see like Champion, Fila, Adidas, all of those styles coming back now. Mm-hmm. It's a lot baggier, but it's also fitting too. So, I mean, it just really depends on your taste and style.
That's true. Would you guys say that you go off of, like, what is coming back? Or do you, in a sense, it does play a part, huh?
Yeah, I would say so.
Even if you say, like, it doesn't, it does play a little part into it.
I agree.
Say if, like, you go into Walmart, you know, and you see, maybe you saw some Champion when you were growing up. Oh, it's a Champion hoodie. Cool, like $20. Working, you know, like at Urban, I'm sure you walk in there, you'll see the same, maybe a little bit, you know, nicer, a little more designery or trendy, the way they sell it or whatever, and it's like $60, you know?
Yeah.
That's weird. What
particular stores, let's start with you, Adam. What stores do you say you like to go?
There's a couple of different ones. I think Goodwill is obviously a good place to start, but with Goodwill, I think that, you know, some of the higher ups, they understand that thrifting is becoming this worldwide trend where, you know, you get out your phone, take a picture of what you got. Hey, I got this, and maybe it's really ugly or, you know, really cool, but their prices are higher. Ultimately, you know, you walk into a Goodwill now and you'll see, you know, some beat up pants, and you're like, oh, you know, these are sick, and it's like $20 on it. It's like, what? You guys got this for free? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I think smaller stores like Thrift America, Salvation Army, you kind of have to dig. You know, you got to spend a little bit of time looking for some grails, but you can find stuff. You can find some of those brands that he was talking about at Urban with Fila and Champion, but you will have to dig, and that's kind of the key term. So you really just got to scavenge anywhere you can get, really. Okay. Anything that has a blue tag is 99 cents. You got to dig for it. Yeah, for sure.
Tight. Christian, what about you? What are some of your stores you like to go to?
Some of my favorite stores to shop at, Ross, first of all, TJ Maxx, J.C. Penney, of course, if you're, you know, trying to save a few pennies.
A few bucks. Marshalls, bro. Marshalls.
Right. Marshalls does a really good job.
Yes.
You can find deals everywhere. So I guess it just really depends. You know, you just kind of have to be there at the right place at the right time, or else, you know, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. I'm getting a sense that, like, us three, we like to go to, for instance, like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that even if you do go to, for instance, Paxson or stuff like that, you can also find the cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
We've mentioned the stores that we like to shop at. What are some of the tactics?
My mom always told me if you're on the fence about it, maybe don't spend money on it. You know, like
Yeah.
if it's half off, cool. Are you gonna wear it? You know, look at it in your rotation. Is that gonna be something? It's like, ooh, you know what? I'm gonna like hide that until 3 years, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. But you know, it's interesting you talk about the mall and fast fashion. I think is what people are calling it, right? With Fashion Nova and H&M and some of that stuff, and those are kind of like some essentials, I think, is what they say they are, you know? So you'll see like a Gucci coat or something, it'll be like $400, and then H&M or Forever 21, they'll have it for like $30. And I think that's really good for essentials too, you know? You just basic, plain, maybe like a graphic tee or whatnot, but I don't know, it's hard to compete. If you want to spend hundreds of dollars on pants, go for it. But you can find the same styles for cheaper, so.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to that, you can't just go off of that. Oh, it's Gucci, or it's like something like that. You have to put your own taste into it to make it look cool, and that's what
Definitely.
we have. That's what we have. Christian, what are some tactics that you like?
Definitely what Adam was saying. You know, shop around, browse the sales rack. You can find some really good stuff in there, time to time. And as they were saying about like designer, you know, you have Gucci, you know, Prada, Coach, things like that. And yeah, while that is cool, I mean, just think about how much money you are spending on that sort of stuff. You know, their clothes, they're gonna get holes. You know,
They're gonna wear out.
They're gonna wear out. You know, from putting it in the wash from time to time, and then you just spend all that money on those designer clothes. I mean, granted, if you do have the money and you do like it, go ahead, shop for that. But you know, you could also look as good and have better style for, you know, a quarter of that cost of, you know, a shirt or some shoes or pants.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
About you guys, how do you put
That reminds me of an old saying, fashion fades, but style lasts forever. I think that's, perfect for what you're going for there.
Okay.
I mean, there's a negative stigma with Wally World, and if you walk in there and buy anything that's not food or household items, people are like, oh my gosh,
you shop there?
is he wearing Fruit of the Loom? How dare he be comfortable? And I think you're exactly right. I mean, you could walk into Walmart and see some of the same stuff you're seeing at, big brand like retailers that people are, like. But at the same time, it you just always gotta find the deals.
If you want to find like a long sleeve black shirt,
Yeah.
Are you gonna pay $20 for one from Paxson,
Mm-hmm.
or are you gonna pay $4 from one from Walmart? I'll pay $4.
Right.
Any day, $4.
Let's take it.
Save that extra 16 for something else.
Recently, what have you guys found or bought?
What have I picked up?
Yeah.
Thrift. I found a really nice Patagonia windbreaker. That's one of like those other brands. Like I feel like some of those outdoorsy brands, North Face, Patagonia, Carhartt, Eddie Bauer, Dickies. These are like almost like work brands that a construction guy working outside is going to have like a Carhartt shirt on. And at the same time, you'll go to a skate shop and it's like, oh, Carhartt, like he's trendy. He's doing all these tricks on his skateboard. It's weird to see that too. Yeah. Like how like a work style, that's like a whole nother like thing right there is how a work brand or like a construction, like, what is it, like blue collar job or white collar or whatever?
Yeah, I would say so. Construction,
roofing.
But even companies are doing that. Like, for instance, Carhartt. I know that Carhartt has a deal with Odyssey. Odyssey's like this rapper who just raps about like, not necessarily like drugs or anything like that. He's very conservative. He has his wife. He has like a little daughter and everything. But he has a deal with Carhartt, and he's always like rocking that, but in a fashionable way. So like you also see companies starting to do that. So that's cool. How like a work brand can become a stylist.
Yeah, and I mean you'll have like Silo. It's off 13th Street, and they have Carhartt in their designer or trendier clothing. It's called Work in Progress, and it comes down to almost like the little things. The stitching is a little higher quality. the emblem and logo on the shirt's a little flashier, and then it says work in progress, and you slap like a $40 sticker on it, and it's kind of ridiculous in a sense. You have these brands making different, like almost trying to advertise to little niche markets of like, oh, this little hipster trendy guy he's gonna pay for this, but it's cool. I like it. Like I'm here for it. The transformation.
Yeah, I would definitely in high school. I was told that like I was like hipster. They were like, "Oh, you're a hipster."
Oh, hipster.
I got like I don't know. I got called hipster a lot, but I never took it like offensive, or I never took it like, "Oh, I don't want to be hipster." I was just like, "Okay, like
Okay."
Yeah, I agree with you. The other day, I was talking with an old friend of mine, and we just caught up on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing now?" And I'm like, "Oh, man, just going to work and going to school." He's like, "Oh, where do you work?" And I was like, Urban Outfitters. He's like, "Yeah, I can see it. You're a hipster."
Oh,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah, I can see it.
I can see you working there. It's just who you are.
You should have told him he's a hipster for telling you he can see it.
Yeah, no, that's spin on it.
So in the segment, we also have a weekly clothing item. Adam, you were telling me earlier before we got started that the jacket you're currently wearing
I have on
is your weekly clothing item. Let me tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so this is from a little Lincoln boutique. It's called the Black Market. I don't know, it's kind of fitting. Black Market's like illegal stuff, and this is like secondhand clothing. It works, all right? That's my point. It works, okay?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's Haymarket, which is a little tiny old market, basically, if you've ever been in the area. And a lot of these places, they're not like Goodwills. They're not where they take everything. They'll have like a specific buyer. So like you can work there and you can be a buyer and you can have someone come in. You could like flame their outfit or the clothes that they bring in. And
like choose.
yeah, so basically like what they'll do is they'll offer $20 or something to someone for like a hoodie that they bring in. You could like sell your clothes to them. It's like, I think their motto is like buy, sell, trade, I think is what they said. Like, yeah, buy, sell, trade. Got a little like recycled pin on there.
Oh, okay.
And it's Eddie Bauer, so I'm pretty happy about that. Kanye West has a lyric and it says like, Expedition was Eddie Bauer edition. Buy, sell, trade places, I think, are kind of the direction what fashion's going into.
Christian, what about you? You mentioned.
Yeah, my weekly clothing item that I brought in today. You kind of see everybody walking around campus with one now. I mean, it's kind of the trend right now. It's jacket with like a fur liner on like the hood.
The stadium long jacket.
And it's really warm. It's like it's a really good piece, especially to have in like a wardrobe or something.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
So that's kind of like the trend that's going right now. So that's kind of what I brought in myself. And, those jackets, they're not really that cheap.
No.
I think that's subject to opinion.
Siri came in.
So yeah,
how did she pick that up?
They're not really that cheap. And so I was definitely, browsing sale racks, things like that. Mm-hmm. And, this jacket's like $200. I mean, you can spend $150 to $200 on this jacket.
Yeah.
I was browsing the sale rack and I found one $50.
You grabbed it.
And I took it. I mean, you can't get better than that. You just got to,
Where's it from?
It's from Urban Outfitters.
Okay.
Do you get your discount on top of the sales?
No, so unfortunately, on top of the sales, we don't get a discount, but, that was just a normal sale. So, I mean, anybody.
You get first pick, too, on that, I'm sure.
$50 compared to $200 is good. But with that, we are wrapping it up. Thank you guys for being part of it.
Of course.
And have a good one, everyone. That is it for today's segment of the Garage Sale Show. I'm your host, Ulises Orozco. See you next time.